Hey, my name is Doug Cates, and I became an Eagle Scout in 1970 down in Waynesboro in Troop 25. And it's interesting that I started in Cub Scouts in the second grade with about 10 boys, and 8 of the 10 boys, we all became Eagle Scouts at about the same time. So a great experience in growing up, and even a greater experiencing in to be able to share that with guys that I grew up with. And even today, that group of boys are some of my best friends, having shared experiences camping and hiking and burning things up and all the other things that Scouts do is a great bond for boys that really never end as long as you live. Today I'm a certified public accountant and in public practice. I've been a CPA now for about 42 years. It is the only thing I've ever done as far as a work career goes, and so I continued to do it today, and in a world that changes tax-wise and business-wise, and enjoy it even after doing it for 42 years. Again, I started out in the second grade as a Cub Scout. My mom and my great friend John Bird Daniel's mom were our den leaders, and for there I progressed as a Webelos and then joined Troop 25 in Waynesboro. The Scoutmaster there was Zip White, who was the Scoutmaster there for, gosh, probably 15 years and produced a lot of Eagle Scouts. So as is the case with a good leader, it makes becoming an Eagle Scout easier because of his organization and his dedication to scouting. And so I really had the privilege of being able to go my full career with one Scoutmaster and be able to get to know him. He is now dead, but we did have a reunion years ago, and I suspect over time he produced 35 or 40 Eagle Scouts. So really just a testimony to his commitment of time and energy and talents to scouting. I would say, going back to the Scout motto, be prepared. I learned that lesson when our patrol had the duty of fixing supper for the troop after about a 15-mile hike, and we weren't prepared well enough for the food, and having 40 starving and unhappy Scouts is not something that I would like to repeat. I learned that lesson, and so I would say that is one of the big parts, is to be prepared. When you look out, preparation is 90% of the work, and if you're prepared, then the little things that come along that don't work like you think are indeed little things, but the big things are taken care of in advance. You got to be prepared. One of my favorite scouting memories, it's pretty funny. I can tell you exactly what it is. It was my great friend Jim Davidson, and he and I had been in Scouts together for a while. We were in the same patrol, and we had cooked breakfast at a camp out at the Bearfield's place down in Alexander, Georgia. And we had finished cooking, and we were going to scrape all the pots and pans out in the pond. There's a little dock out in the pond, and we were going to wash them out in the pond and then clean them better. And as I looked up, I saw Jim coming down the path, and just as he hit the dock, he had two pots full of utensils. And just as he stepped on the dock, he slipped and threw all of the utensils and the pots into the water, which was about 3 or 4 feet deep. And this was January. Well, probably you couldn't do that today, but when Scoutmaster Zip White saw what had happened, he said, "Boys, y'all got to go in and get those pots and pans and utensils." And so I can still remember getting into that cold water, and with Jim Davidson and I laughing at the same time, but we got pretty cold, and fishing those utensils out with our feet. And so that's a memory that I will never forget. And I actually saw Jim about 3 years ago. Hadn't seen him in probably 15 years. And as soon as we saw each other, that was the first thing that came to both of our minds. And we had a great belly laugh about the day of fishing the utensils out of the pond. I would say, being an Eagle Scout, has something about it. And when people learn that you're an Eagle Scout, I don't think there's any question that you get a level of confidence from them that that you are prepared, and that you have exhibited the discipline and the stick-to-itness that it takes to be an Eagle Scout. It's not something most people know. That's not something you get in a weekend. It takes a lot of work and effort, organization, which is what people are usually looking for from someone they want to do business with or that they want to hire. I would say that the time and the energy and the emotion that you put into what you did was worth it. I know at the time I wasn't very thankful. At 13 and 14, you're all about yourself. But there's no question that as I look back, having that impact on that many boys at that particular age is a big deal that has really eternal rewards.